Hey there, my friend. Come sit close to me. Let me tell you a wonderful story. It's about a boy just like you or me. His name is Ravi. He lived in a small village near a big city called Indore. Ravi had big, big dreams shining in his eyes. But life was not always easy for him. This story will show you his journey, how a small village boy grew into a strong, successful man. You will learn lessons about life, about being strong inside, and yes, about learning English, one simple word at a time. Listen well, feel the story in your heart. Let's begin our journey with Ravi. Chapter 1: Ravi's Simple Life. Our story begins very early in the morning. The sun was still sleeping, hiding behind the dark sky. In a small house with walls made of mud and straw, a boy named Ravi opened his eyes. Outside, roosters began to crow, telling the world it was time to wake up. Ravi was 10 years old. No, wait, let me remember correctly. Now he is 12. But every big story must start from the very beginning, so let's go back. Ravi lived with his family. There was his father, a farmer with strong, tired hands. His mother, who cooked delicious meals on a clay stove that filled their home with warm smells. And his little sister, Meena, who was 8 years old and loved to follow Ravi everywhere. They were a poor family, but they were rich in love. They hugged each other tight and shared what little they had. Every single morning, Ravi's first job was to fetch water. The village well was quite far from his house. He would carry a heavy, round pot on his head. The walk was long, and sometimes water would spill on his clothes, making them wet. His small arms would ache with pain, but Ravi would just smile a little smile. In his mind, he whispered a secret dream. One day, I will have a big, strong house with water right inside. After water, it was time for school. The school was 2 whole kilometers away. Ravi walked with his friends along a dusty, bumpy path. His shoes were old and had holes. Some days he even went barefoot, feeling the warm earth under his feet. In the classroom, the teacher's words sounded fast and confusing. Ravi often sat at the back, his mind drifting away to pictures of big cities he saw in old magazines, tall buildings like mountains, shiny cars that roared, and streets full of bright lights at night. But learning was hard. The school had very few books. When it was time to read, Ravi read slowly, his finger moving under each word. English felt like a mysterious code. Simple words like cat, dog, and run felt strange on his tongue. He would say them out loud to practice. Cat, dog, run. Some friends would giggle. Ravi, you sound so funny, one boy said. Laughter echoed in the air. Ravi's heart felt heavy and sad. He wanted so badly to speak English smoothly, like his teacher, like the confident people he sometimes heard on a crackling radio. But how could a village boy like him ever learn? One quiet afternoon, after school, Ravi sat alone under his favorite old mango tree. He felt a lump in his throat. He picked up a sharp stone. In the soft, brown earth, he wrote 2 words, I can. He looked at them. Then he said them out loud. I can. He said it again, and again, 10 times, his voice growing a tiny bit stronger each time. I can, I can, I can. That night, by the flickering light of a small lamp, he told his mother. Ma, he said, his voice hopeful, I want to learn English properly. His mother stopped her work. She looked at his serious face, wiped her hands on her sari, and opened her arms for a hug. My child, she said softly. Every giant tree begins as a tiny seed. Start small, just say good morning in English to someone every day. Ravi nodded, feeling a small, warm spark ignite in his chest. Maybe, just maybe, he could do it. But life soon tested his spark. The rains did not come that season. The family's crops, their only way to get money, began to fail. Ravi saw the deep worry on his father's sun-tanned face. There would be no money for new clothes, for books, for treats. Ravi thought to himself, my dream is important, but my family is more important. I must help them. The path to his big dream seemed very long indeed. Lesson of Chapter 1: Start small. Every big dream, every great journey begins with one single, small step. just like planting one seed. Chapter 2: The Lesson of Discipline. Many days passed. Ravi kept his mother's words in his heart. He decided he needed a plan, a routine. He needed something called discipline. Discipline, he learned, means doing the things you must do every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It means no skipping, no excuses. So Ravi made a decision. He would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, even before the birds. First, he would brush his teeth with a neem stick. Then he would wash his face with cool water from the pot. Next came exercise. He didn't know fancy exercises, so he did 10 jumps, 10 sit-downs, and swung his arms up and down. Soon, tiny drops of sweat would appear on his forehead. His body wanted to stop, but Ravi did not listen. He kept going. Discipline is like a muscle, Ravi thought one morning, breathing hard. If you use it every day, it grows stronger and stronger. After exercise, while the world was still quiet, he would study. He gave 1 hour for maths problems, 1 hour for Hindi, his own beautiful language, and then, his favorite time, 1 hour for English. He would repeat simple sentences like a chant. Hello, how are you? I am fine. Thank you. His mother, milking the cow nearby, would hear him and smile. Good boy, Ravi, she would say. Keep it up. But, oh, it was so hard sometimes. His friends would finish their chores and call from outside his window, Ravi, come play cricket with us. The sun is perfect. Ravi's heart would leap. He loved cricket, but he would look at his slate, take a deep breath, and call back, I will come later. I must study first. His friends would tease him, their voices floating away. Bookworm, teacher's pet. On those days, Ravi felt very alone. One rainy morning, the sky was dark gray, and the sound of the rain was so peaceful. Ravi looked outside. It is too wet for exercise, he told himself, and he stayed snug in his bed. The next day, he thought, one skip is okay, and he skipped again. He also started studying a little less, telling himself he was tired. His father, who noticed everything, sat next to him one evening. Ravi, my son, what has happened? Your fire seems smaller. Ravi looked down, and tears welled up in his eyes. It's just too hard, Papa, he whispered. I feel alone, and it's not fun anymore. His father put a rough, kind hand on his shoulder. Listen, he said gently. Discipline is not about always feeling good and happy. It is about doing what is right anyway. Look at me. I go to the farm every single day. Is it always fun? No. Is it sometimes too hot or too wet? Yes. But I go, because the crops need me. Your future needs you. Ravi remembered his father working under the hot sun, never complaining. The next morning, the rain was pouring down even harder. Ravi got out of bed. He went outside and did his jumps in the squishy mud, laughing as he slipped. He came inside, dried off, and studied by the light of a single candle. That day, the English words seemed to stick to his mind like glue. Slowly, like a tiny plant pushing through the soil, his school marks began to improve. His teacher put a star on his paper and smiled. Ravi, he said, you have changed. What is your secret? Ravi just smiled back. He started teaching his little sister, Meena. Sister, he said, try discipline. Wake up early with me. Meena, who adored her big brother, agreed. Together, they would jump rope in the yard. They would laugh when they tripped and always help each other get back up. 1 month later, Ravi stood up in class. When the teacher said good morning, Ravi replied, good morning, teacher. His voice was clear and strong, not a mumble. The friends who used to tease him stopped. They saw his progress. Slowly, one by one, they started joining him in the mornings. Discipline, they saw, was not a punishment, but a superpower. Lesson of Chapter 2: Discipline builds you. It is like building a house brick by brick. Do your important tasks every day, even when it is hard, especially when it is hard. Chapter 3: Building Confidence. With discipline, Ravi felt stronger inside. But there was still a shadow in his heart. He felt shy, like a little mouse. In class, when he knew an answer, his hand felt as heavy as a rock. He would hide his hands under his desk. When he had to speak, his voice became a soft whisper, like the rustle of leaves. What was this thing called confidence? Ravi decided to ask his wise teacher. After class, he went up to the desk, his heart beating fast. Sir, he asked quietly, how does a person become confident? The teacher smiled. It is like learning to ride a bicycle, Ravi, he said. First, you must sit tall on the seat. Then, you must look ahead where you want to go, not at your feet. And when you speak, do not rush. Speak slowly and clearly, like you mean every word. Ravi decided to practice. At home, they had an old cracked mirror hanging on a wall. Every day after chores, Ravi would stand in front of it. He would stand up straight, pull his shoulders back, and look into his own eyes. Hello, he would say to his reflection. My name is Ravi. It is nice to meet you. Sometimes he would make a silly face and laugh at himself. It felt funny, but he kept doing it. Soon, a big opportunity came. The village was having its annual fair. There would be elephants decorated with colors, stalls full of sweet treats, and exciting games. The school was going to perform a short English play for everyone. They needed one main speaker. To Ravi's shock, his teacher pointed at him. Ravi, he said, you have improved so much. I want you to do it. Ravi's heart jumped into his throat. Me, sir? No, I cannot. I will forget all my lines on the stage. He stammered. Confidence does not come from never being scared, the teacher explained patiently. It comes from trying. You might fail first, but then you will learn, and then you will win. So Ravi practiced. He practiced all week. He recited his lines in front of his mother while she cooked. He performed for his father after dinner. His little sister Mina was his biggest fan, clapping wildly after every try. Finally, the day of the fair arrived. The crowd was huge. Parents, children, elders, everyone from the village was there, sitting on the ground. When it was time for the play, Ravi walked onto the small wooden stage. His legs felt like they were made of jelly, shaking under him. Bright lights from lamps shone in his eyes. He began. Hello, friends, he said, but his voice was so small, like a tiny pebble dropping in a pond. The crowd was quiet, waiting. In that moment, Ravi remembered his 2 words. He took a deep breath. He imagined himself sitting tall on a bicycle. He stood up straight, looked at the friendly faces in the crowd, and spoke again. This time, his voice was loud and clear, carrying over the fairgrounds. He told a story about a brave boy from a village, a boy very much like himself. When he finished, there was a moment of silence, then the crowd erupted in claps and cheers. Well done, Ravi. Good job, people shouted. A huge, happy smile spread across Ravi's face. He ran off the stage and into the arms of his family, who hugged him tightly. That night, lying on his cot, Ravi understood something important. Confidence is not the absence of fear, he thought. It is feeling the fear, the butterflies in your stomach, and taking action anyway. The very next day in school, Ravi did something new. He raised his hand. He answered questions. Sometimes his answer was wrong, and he would feel his cheeks turn pink. But he kept trying, kept raising his hand. Soon, his friends looked at him with new respect. Ravi, they said, can you teach us some English too? So, under the shade of the big mango tree, Ravi started a small, friendly class. Repeat after me, he would say. Thank you. Lesson of Chapter 3. Confidence grows like a plant when you water it with trying. Stand tall. Look people in the eye. Speak up, even if your voice shakes at first. Chapter 4. The Power of Hard Work. Then came summer. A fierce, burning summer. The sun blazed down from a cloudless sky, turning the fields pale and dry. The earth cracked like a thirsty mouth. One evening, Ravi's father said, Ravi, the farm needs you. School is closed for holiday, but our work does not close. Ravi nodded. He knew his family came first. So, Ravi's life changed. He woke up even earlier, when stars were still out, and worked in the fields from dawn until the sun was high and fierce. He planted seeds in the hard ground, pulled out stubborn weeds that stole water, and carried heavy baskets. His back ached with a dull, constant pain. The sun burned his skin, turning it dark brown. While he worked, he could hear the distant shouts and laughter of other children playing in the pond. A sad thought whispered in his mind, "No play for me, only work." But then he would look at his father. His father worked twice as hard, never stopping, never complaining. His clothes were soaked with sweat, but his hands never slowed down. One evening, a neighbor uncle visited. He was a rich man who lived in the city and wore shiny clothes. He looked at their wheat field and nodded. "Your crop looks good this year, despite the heat." Ravi's father wiped his brow and gave a tired smile. "It is only hard work, brother, nothing else." The rich uncle turned his eyes to Ravi, who was resting under a tree. "And you, young boy, what do you do?" Ravi stood up quickly. "I work hard too, uncle," he said respectfully. The uncle laughed, not in a mean way, but in a knowing way. "Then, remember this, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. A smart but lazy person will always lose to a hard worker." Ravi thought about this deeply. His school friends were smart, but many played all day during the holiday. He worked. At night, he was so tired his body felt like a heavy stone. Yet, after a quick dinner, he would light the small lamp and open his books. His eyes would feel heavy, begging to close, but he made them stay open. He had to study too. Then trouble hit. A wild bull from somewhere broke through their old wooden fence one night. It ran through their best field, trampling and eating the young plants. A whole section of their crop was ruined. Ravi's father was very angry and sad. "Who did this?" he shouted at the sky. "All our hard work is gone." The family was silent and gloomy during dinner. Would they have no harvest this year? How would they eat? How would they get money? Ravi looked at his father's sad face. A strong feeling rose inside him. He spoke up. "Papa," he said, his voice firm, "we cannot sit and cry. We will work harder. We will plant that field again." His father looked at him, surprised. "You are just a small boy. How can you say this? The season is late. Hard work can fix things," Ravi insisted. "Maybe not all, but some. Let us try." Moved by his son's spirit, Ravi's father agreed. The very next morning, the whole family, father, mother, Ravi, and even little Meena helping where she could, started working on the ruined field. They worked in the cool early mornings and again in the slightly cooler late evenings. They carried water from the far well, bucket by precious bucket, to water the new seeds. Ravi's hands, soft from books, developed blisters that broke and bled, but he wrapped cloth around them and kept working. They waited and prayed. Finally, after many worried days, the rain came. It was late and not as much as they hoped, but it was enough. Slowly, tiny green shoots pushed through the soil. They grew and grew. At harvest time, the wheat stood tall and golden, a better crop than anyone expected. They sold it for a good price. For the first time in a long while, there was money for new clothes, proper shoes, and most importantly for Ravi, new books. Ravi bought a special book, Read and Speak Easy English. It was old and second-hand, but to him it was a treasure. Every night, without fail, he read from it. He stumbled over hard words, sounded them out slowly, and worked on them until he could say them perfectly. When school reopened, there was a big exam. Ravi not only passed, he came first in his class, and his highest marks were in English. The teacher held up his paper for everyone to see. "Class," he announced, "look at Ravi. This is not magic. This is the power of hard work." Ravi told his sister Meena, "Remember, Meena, there are no shortcuts to any place worth going, only hard work." Meena listened carefully. She started helping their mother more, keeping their small house neat, and studying with her own determined focus. People in the village started talking. "Ravi's family is so lucky," they said. But Ravi and his family knew the truth. It wasn't luck. It was hard, honest, sweaty work. Lesson of Chapter 4: Hard work is the key that opens every door. There is no easy way to success. You must work for it, with your hands, your mind, and your heart. Chapter 5: Mastering Time. Now Ravi's life became busier than a bee in a garden. He had farm work, schoolwork, English practice, and he was still a boy who wanted to play. It felt like time was a river flowing too fast. Sometimes, in the rush, he would forget his homework. One morning, he was so busy studying he almost forgot to fetch the water, and his mother had to remind him. His mother scolded him gently one day. Ravi, beta, time is more precious than gold. If you waste gold, you might find more. But if you waste time, it is gone forever. You can never get it back. How could he manage all these things? Ravi thought and thought. He needed a plan. He took his school slate and a piece of chalk. He drew a line down the middle. On one side, he wrote time, and on the other side, he wrote task. Then, he made his very first schedule. Wake up 5:00 a.m. Exercise 30 minutes. Study maths/Hindi 1 hour. Help on farm 2 hours. English practice 30 minutes. Play with friends 1 hour. Sleep 9:00 p.m. He decided to follow this list every single day. He would check off each task with a tick when it was done. It felt wonderful to see all those ticks at the end of the day. It was like a game he was winning. He noticed his friends often wasted time. They would chat for hours under the banyan tree, or play cricket long after the sun set, leaving no time for studies. Their marks in school started to go down. Ravi showed his slate to his best friend, Raju. "See, Raju," he said. "This is my list. It helps me do everything. Try making one." Raju sighed. "But Ravi, I have no time. There is so much to do." Ravi smiled. "You don't find time, Raju. You make time. Maybe watch less TV at the shop, or go to sleep a little earlier so you can wake up fresh." Raju decided to try. He made a simple list. And guess what? His marks began to improve too. Soon, the festival of Diwali arrived, the festival of lights. The village was sparkling with tiny clay lamps. There were sweets everywhere, and the sky was filled with colorful kites. Ravi loved kite flying more than anything. He wanted to run to the fields right after breakfast, but his schedule said study first. With a deep breath, Ravi sat down with his books. He finished his important study for the day. Then, with a light and happy heart, he ran out with his kite. Because his mind was clear and his work was done, he flew his kite the highest, cutting everyone else's strings. He won a small prize, a box of delicious sweets. His father patted his head, proud. "This," his father said, "is called time management. You are a smart boy, Ravi." Ravi started teaching Meena too. He drew a big clock on a piece of paper. "See this part, Meena? This is for study. This big part is for helping mother. And this fun, colorful part is for play." Meena learned quickly. She became better at finishing her chores, and their little home became even neater. One year, a terrible storm hit the village. Heavy rains flooded the fields. Water was rushing towards their house. There was no time to waste. Ravi's time management habit made him quick to act. He immediately gathered the family. "Papa, you get the shovel. Meena, get the sacks. Ma, bring the ropes," he directed. Together, they worked fast and built a small mud wall to divert the water. They saved most of their belongings. Panting and wet, Ravi said, "Time decides life. If we had been slow, we would have lost everything." His English was getting much better now. He could say full sentences clearly. One day, he told his teacher, "Sir, I manage my time well. It is my secret tool." Lesson of Chapter 5. Time is a gift that is yours. Do not let it slip away. Plan it, use it wisely, and you will have time for work, time for learning, and time for play. Chapter 6. The Strength of Honesty. Ravi always believed in telling the truth. His parents had taught him that honesty was the best policy, but soon his honesty faced a big test. It was time for the big school exams. Ravi had studied very hard, especially for his maths paper. On the exam day, he read the questions carefully and wrote his answers as fast as he could. He finished just as the bell rang. After the exam, all the friends gathered under the tree to talk about the answers. "Question number 5, said one friend. "The answer was 42. I am sure of it." Ravi's heart sank. He had written 40. He had made a silly mistake in his hurry. He felt terrible. When the teacher returned the papers, Ravi saw a big red mark on his. He had failed the maths test. He was very sad. But he thought to himself, I did not cheat. I did my best with a clear mind. Next time, I will be more careful. The next day, a boy named Mohan was boasting loudly. Mohan's family was the richest in the village. I copied the answers from my notebook during the test. Mohan whispered to a group, grinning. I got full marks. Ravi was shocked. You cheated, he said, unable to believe it. That is so wrong, Mohan. Mohan just laughed. So what? No one knows. You are just an honest fool, Ravi. Look at my marks and look at yours. Ravi felt a hot feeling in his chest. This was not right. It was unfair to all the students who had studied hard. He thought about it all night. The next day he went to his teacher. Sir, he said, his voice steady but his knees shaky, I have to tell you something. Mohan cheated on the maths test. He told everyone. The teacher was serious. He called Mohan to the front of the class. Mohan, is this true? Did you cheat? Mohan's face turned pale. He looked at the floor and started crying. Yes, sir, he mumbled. I am sorry. The teacher gave Mohan a punishment. But later he called Ravi aside. Ravi, he said, what you did was very difficult. Honesty can be hard because sometimes it makes others angry. But it is always right. I am proud of you. Ravi felt a warm, clean feeling inside. He studied even harder for the next test and passed with good marks. At home, his honesty was tested again. His father lost his old leather wallet. It had their little savings inside. Father searched everywhere but could not find it. He was very upset. A few days later, while working in the field, Ravi's foot hit something hard in the mud. He dug it out. It was a wallet. The money was still inside, wet but safe. He ran all the way home, not even stopping to catch his breath. Papa, Papa, I found your wallet, he shouted, holding it out. His father's eyes filled with tears of relief. He hugged Ravi tight. My honest son, he whispered. You are more precious than any gold in this wallet. Another time, Ravi went to the village shop with his mother. He saw the shopkeeper use a wrong weight on the scale to give less rice to an old lady. The lady did not notice. Ravi felt angry. On the way home, he told his mother, Ma, that man is cheating. We should not buy from him. His mother agreed. They started buying from another, more honest shopkeeper further away. It was more walking, but their hearts were peaceful. Even little Mina learned this lesson. Once, she did not finish her homework but told their mother she had. Ravi saw her worried face. He sat with her. Mina, he said kindly, telling the truth is always better, even if you get scolded a little. A lie breaks trust. Truth builds a strong bridge between hearts. Mina nodded and never lied again. Ravi was honest in his English learning too. When he didn't know a word, he would say, I don't know that word yet. Can you teach me? He never pretended to know. Because of his honesty, his friends and teachers trusted him completely. They knew Ravi's word was true. Lesson of Chapter 6. Honesty might seem hard sometimes, but it always wins. It gives you true friends and a peaceful heart. A clean heart is the most comfortable home. Chapter 7. Self-belief shines. Even with all his progress, a worm of doubt sometimes crawled into Ravi's mind. He would hear stories about children from the big city of Indore, children who went to fancy schools, had computers, and spoke English like it was their mother tongue. A small, sad voice inside him would whisper, I'm just a simple village boy. My clothes are old. My house is small. Can I really compete with them? Can my dreams ever come true? This feeling is called self-doubt. The opposite of it is self-belief, believing in yourself, in your own power and potential. Ravi knew he needed more of that. He went to his teacher again. Sir, he said, sometimes I don't believe I can do big things. The teacher looked him straight in the eye. Ravi, listen to me. You can. You have already done so much. The only person who needs to believe in Ravi is Ravi himself. Say it until you feel it. So Ravi went back to his old cracked mirror. Every morning, after his exercises, he would stand tall and say to his reflection, I'm smart. I am capable. I can learn anything if I work hard. At first, it felt strange, like telling a story, but slowly the words started to feel true. A perfect chance to test his self-belief came. The school announced an English-speaking contest for all the villages in the area. The winner would get a shiny trophy. Ravi decided to join. He wrote a short speech called My Dream. He practiced it day and night. But as the contest day came closer, the old fears came back. His stomach felt full of fluttering butterflies. My accent is village style. I will forget my lines. Everyone will laugh, he worried. But then he remembered his mere words. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and said to himself, I believe in me. I can do this. On the stage, in front of many teachers and students from different schools, Ravi began. He spoke about his dream of building a big school in his village. He spoke about hard work and never giving up. His English was not perfect, but it was clear, strong, and full of passion. He spoke from his heart. When he finished, the applause was loud and long. He had won first prize. He held the trophy, a small golden cup, and his heart felt like it would burst with happiness. His father cried tears of joy when Ravi showed him the trophy. You see, son, his father said, hugging him, you just had to believe. Ravi started teaching his friends this superpower. Every morning, he told them, look in a mirror or just say it in your mind, I can. I am strong. They started doing it. Slowly, the whole class's attitude changed. They became more positive and their grades improved too. Mina was scared before her first big exam. What if I fail, brother? She asked, her eyes wide with fear. Ravi held her small hands. Look at me, Mina. Do you believe you have studied? She nodded. Then believe in that, Mina. Trust yourself. Mina took a deep breath, smiled, and passed her exam with good marks. Then came the biggest dream of all, a scholarship to a famous English medium school in Indore. The exam was very, very tough. Ravi studied like never before. He believed he could do it. He failed on his first try. The news was like a heavy rock on his chest. He was sad for days. The doubtworm tried to whisper again, see, I told you, you are just a village boy. But Ravi squashed that worm. He remembered the trophy. He remembered his father's proud tears. I believe, he said out loud to the empty field. I will try again. He studied even harder, focusing on his weak points. The second time he took the exam, a few weeks later, a letter arrived. Ravi's hands trembled as he opened it. He read the words, congratulations, you have been awarded the scholarship. He had won. He was going to the city school. He moved to a hostel in Indore. The first night, in a room with other boys he didn't know, he felt scared and homesick. The city noises were strange. He hugged his pillow. Then he whispered into the dark, I believe in myself. I can do this. And he fell asleep. He made new friends, worked hard, and soon he was at the top of his new class too. Lesson of Chapter 7. You are your own biggest cheerleader. Believe in yourself even when no one else does. The moment you truly believe I can, the sky is no longer the limit, it's just the view. Chapter 8. Learning English Step by Step. Ravi's journey with the English language was a long and beautiful one, like a walk up a gentle mountain. He never ran, he took slow, steady steps. It all started with the tiniest of words. Hello, goodbye, nasa, no. He practiced these every single day, like a musician practicing scales. He used his old cracked mirror. Hello, mirror, he would say. He talked to his family. Good morning, father. Did you sleep well? He even talked to the trees and the family cow sometimes. What is your name, Mr. Tap? He would laugh at himself, but he never stopped. He knew practice was the magic ingredient. He saved his small pocket money and bought a very old, second-hand radio from the weekly market. At night, he would tune it carefully. Sometimes he caught a station playing English songs for children. He would listen closely to simple songs like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. He would try to sing along, matching the strange sounds. Twinkle, twinkle. It was fun. His kind teacher gave him a simple storybook with big pictures. It had stories about a dog and a cat who were friends. Every night, Ravi would read one page out loud, slowly. He did not worry about speed. He focused on saying each word correctly. Sometimes Mina would sit and listen, her eyes wide with the story. He made many mistakes. He would say sheep for ship or tree for three. But he was never ashamed. He would ask his teacher or anyone who knew a little English, please correct me. I want to learn. He made learning a game with his friends. They would do role play. One friend would be a shopkeeper and Ravi would be a customer. Good morning, Ravi would say. One idli, please. How much? They would all giggle, but they were learning without even realizing it. He faced a setback. There was a speaking test at his new city school. He spoke too slowly, thinking carefully about every word. The teacher said, Ravi, you have good grammar, but you need to be more fluent. You did not pass this test. Ravi was disappointed but not defeated. Fluent means smooth and fast, he thought. So he found new ways to practice. He learned tongue twisters. He would say red lorry, yellow lorry as fast as he could, getting his tongue all tangled. It was difficult but made him laugh. He practiced and practiced. 1 month later, he took the test again. This time, he spoke more smoothly, more confidently. He passed. When his rich uncle from the city visited again, Ravi greeted him. Good evening, uncle. Welcome to our home. Would you like some water? His uncle was amazed. Ravi, your English is so good now. Well done. A friend let Ravi borrow his mobile phone for a day, a magical device Ravi had rarely touched. He used it to record himself reading a paragraph from his book. Then he listened to the recording. He heard his own mistakes clearly. He heard where he mumbled. It was like being his own teacher. He recorded again and again until he was happy with how he sounded. Now Ravi could have full conversations. He could talk about his future. I want to be an electrical engineer, he would say. I want to build things that help people. Sometimes he even dreamed in English. His biggest joy was sharing his gift. During holidays, he started a free English class for the younger village kids under the big banyan tree. Repeat after me, he would say, just like his teacher once did. Good morning. The children would shout it out, their voices bright and happy. They loved their teacher Ravi. Lesson of Chapter 8, Learning English or anything new is a step-by-step journey. Don't rush. Practice a little every single day. Be brave to make mistakes. Listen, repeat, and one day, you will be speaking just like this story. Chapter 9, Never Giving Up. Ravi's life was a series of climbs. Every time he reached one hilltop, he saw a bigger mountain ahead. The scholarship got him to the city school, but his biggest dream was to become an engineer. For that, he needed to get into a good college. A new, huge challenge appeared: money. College fees were very high. His father, wanting to support his son's dream, sold a piece of their precious land. But it was still not enough. Ravi looked at the college forms and the fee amount. A dark thought entered his mind. Should I just quit? Should I go back to the village and farm? Maybe my dream is too big for our wallet. But another, stronger voice inside him shouted, no. It was the voice that had whispered, I can under the mango tree. Never give up, the voice said. So Ravi decided to fight. He took a part-time job in the city, giving tuition to younger students in the evenings. During holidays, he returned to the village and worked extra hours on the farm, growing vegetables to sell in the market. At night, after all his work, he would study for his college entrance exams. Some nights, his eyes were so red and tired he could barely see the page. He took a difficult mock test and failed it badly. His friends saw his exhaustion. Ravi, just stop for a while. Must, you are pushing too hard, they advised kindly. Ravi shook his head. If I stop now, I will roll all the way back down the mountain. I must keep going, even if it is just one small step each day. Then more bad news came. His mother fell ill and had to be taken to the hospital in the city. Ravi was devastated. He spent his days and nights at the hospital, caring for her. talking to doctors and worrying, but he carried his books with him. In the quiet hours of the night, sitting on a chair next to her bed, he would study under the dim hospital light by the glow of his small torch. His mother, weak but awake, saw him. She held his hand. Beta, she whispered, promise me you will not quit. For me, keep going. Tears filled Ravi's eyes. I promise, Ma, he said. Somehow, through sheer willpower, he passed the tough engineering entrance exam and got a seat in a good college. But the first year of college was another mountain. The teachers spoke very fast about complicated things like calculus and physics. He felt lost in the big city campus. He failed one subject at the end of the first year. The rules said he would have to repeat the whole year if he failed the re-exam. Should I give up now? He thought, feeling the weight of failure. But the never give up voice was a roar now. No, he studied that one subject double, triple. He found senior students to help him. He passed the re-exam and moved forward with his class. Years later, after college, he got a job in a small electronics repair shop. He knew books, but not real-world tools. He started from zero again. He learned about resistors, capacitors, and circuits. He worked carefully, asked questions, and never pretended to know something he didn't. The shop owner noticed. You are a smart, hardworking boy, he said, and gave Ravi a promotion. Life, however, kept testing him. A friend he trusted in business betrayed him and ran away with some money. Ravi felt angry and foolish. He had lost his savings. For a week he felt like lying down and never getting up. But then he remembered the flooded field, the failed exam, the hospital nights. He stood up. Fall down 7 times, he said to himself, repeating an old saying. Stand up 8. He picked himself up. He used his knowledge of English and technology. He started a very small online business. He wrote simple, helpful ebooks for people who wanted to learn basic English and electronics, just like he once did. He sold them on the internet. It started small, but slowly, like a tiny seed, it began to grow. Lesson of Chapter 9: The path to your dream will have many stones and pits. You will fall. The secret is to always get back up. Never, ever give up on yourself. If you keep standing up, you are already winning. Chapter 10: Ravi's Big Win. Many, many seasons passed. The little village boy was now a man. Ravi had become an electrical engineer, just as he dreamed. His small online business of ebooks had grown into a successful company. He wrote stories very much like his own to teach children about life and English in a simple, fun way. One sunny day, Ravi returned to his village, but he did not come in the old, dusty bus. He drove a small, sturdy car. He walked not to the old mud house, but to a new, strong brick house he had built for his family right next to it. His father, now old with gray hair, sat on the porch, his face a map of smile lines. His eyes shone with a pride deeper than any ocean. Ravi had not forgotten where he came from. He went to the village school. It was no longer a small, crumbling building. With his help, a new wing had been built. On the door, a sign said, Ravi's Free English Corner. Every Saturday, village children gathered there to learn and play games in English, taught by a local teacher Ravi supported. His sister Meena had studied hard too, inspired by her brother. She had become a doctor. She was married now, with a happy family of her own, and worked in a nearby town hospital. The village fair was on again. It was bigger and brighter than ever. The elders asked Ravi to give a speech. He stood on the same fairgrounds where, as a trembling boy, he had given his first English play. The crowd was huge. People from his village and many neighboring ones had come to hear the boy who had made good. Ravi picked up the microphone. He looked at the sea of familiar, loving faces. He did not need notes. He spoke in clear, confident, fluent English. He told them his story, the small steps, the hard work, the failures, the belief. I started right here, he said, his voice emotional. I started with 2 words in the dirt, I can. If I can do it, Every single one of you can too. As he finished, he saw his old father in the front row, tears streaming down his wrinkled cheeks. Ravi's own eyes filled with tears of joy and gratitude. The crowd erupted into cheers, clapping, and whistles that filled the night sky. He looked up at the stars, twinkling like a million tiny diamonds. Thank you, he whispered, to God, to his family, to his teachers, to life itself. All the lessons had worked. Discipline, confidence, hard work, time, honesty, self-belief, step-by-step learning, and never giving up, they were the bricks that had built his life. Now, my dear friend, you have heard Ravi's story from beginning to end. Did you feel it in your heart? Remember, you are just as strong as Ravi was. You have your own dreams shining inside you. Believe in yourself, starting today. You can be the hero of your own story. And if you want to learn English like Ravi did, remember his secret: practice every single day. It doesn't have to be big. Just say one new sentence today. Say, I can do it. Say it to your mirror. Say it to your friend. Take one small step, then another. Soon, you will be walking, then running, towards your own big dreams. If this story touched your heart and gave you a little hope, could you do something for me? Please like this video. It helps other friends, just like you, find this story and feel inspired. And if you want to join me on more adventures and learn more stories full of life lessons, please subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell icon too, so you never miss a new story. We are a family here, and we grow together. Share this story with a friend, a brother, a sister, or your parents. Spread the light of hope. The world needs more heroes like you. You are the next Ravi. Your journey begins now. Start today. I believe in you. Sending you a big, tight hug. Goodbye for now, and see you in the next story.